Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Double Jackpot. Please smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll get right into this video. Today's video I'm going to address gambling, the effects of gambling, and how Christopher Mitchell he's really a gambling degenerate, addicted gambling. I'm going to go over about the big win he had. He had two winning parlays. 5-team parlays with, I think, $500 a parlay, which is a pretty huge bet for a 5-teamer. And he walks away with roughly $15,000. Okay, I believe it's totally real. I believe he won. And I'm going to break down how much of an addicted, degenerate gambler he is. You know, it goes back to when he first said he was going to be a professional sports gambler, me betting on sports, because we all know the other games he's not a winner. So we're going to go about sports. He loses the Astros playoff game back during the World Series, and he cried about that leaving the stadium. That's a big loss. You know, how did you recoup from that? He didn't. So he goes and you saw the video that I broke on my channel. The Ohio State lost $10,000. Going to burn his jersey, burn his son's jersey. Going to disown Ohio State. Whoop-de-doo. Sure, the whole team's going to miss that one fan. It's not the first time alumni and fans of college and pro teams have bet on their team and they've lost and laid an egg and cost them a lot of money. It happens every week. Okay, so big deal. He's going to burn his jersey. Whoa. Okay. My thoughts, I've been doing this a long time. That's why I don't gamble and play anything big or large or anything. It's just ridiculous to think you're going to win and do this. Recreational, once in a while, okay, but when you're laying $500 to win $11,000 and you're doing that, let's talk about the bets from what I could see from the tickets, because Christopher Mitchell's done this the whole time. It's been in baseball. He thought, oh, I'm going to be slick and play all the money line favorites. You know, I did some research and done some games, and when it works, it works. But I can tell you we're in week 13, I believe, in the NFL. And if you played money line favorites, 5-teamers, 4-teamers, 3-teamers, you know how many times you win 2-3, it comes down to the last game. It's always the last game. It's not usually the first game. It's the last game for some crazy reason. So you're going to watch it, and you're going to probably lose it. It happens all the time. One team loses and kills the whole parlay. One team doesn't do it. And we've seen it over and over and over in college and NFL. I mean, we've seen it. The Aggies beat Alabama. There's all kinds of games that I can't even remember. There's so many. That's what I'm saying. There's so many games, whether it's college, pro, that somebody got upset. Houston Texans beating Tennessee in Tennessee. You can't make this stuff up. You know, there's just so many. And all it takes is one team. So he plays five money line parlays, money line favorites, and he plays the same, I think the same team. Maybe there was one or two different, but he plays against the point spread. The point spread, the parlay equaled a big chunk of money. Okay. You know, he lost $10,000 against Ohio State. He lost probably $10,000 in Houston. He loses probably another few thousand. So when he hit this big bet for $15,000, so what? We haven't heard from him since the Ohio State game on wins. Think about this. We haven't heard anything. And that's the thing about gamblers. It's not Christopher Mitchell. It's gamblers in general. You only hear about a big win. Sometimes they'll share a loss like he did on his rant, because he was coming off a huge dopamine rush. He was angry. But just even if you lose as a gambler, when you're doing this as a degenerate gambler, not as a recreational gambler, the dopamine adrenaline rush that he's getting is his high. Okay? And it could be the same thing in roulette. People more feel more involved in the game of football or whatever sporting event they're at, you know. And that's what he's doing, and that's what a lot of people do. It's not just him. They're part of the game, you know. You have just as much of a rush losing as you do winning. Yeah, everybody wants to win, but the rush and the adrenaline and endorphins and adrenaline and all the craziness that goes on through a brain, especially when you're playing a large bet, is is quite the rush that you're getting. And I tell you this, I've I can tell you, it doesn't matter the size of the bet. You know, it could be $3 or it could be $3,000. That's what I'm saying. The rush is the rush, and I'm sure the larger the bet, the more of a rush you're getting. But like I say, I wouldn't know about that. I've seen people, and I've studied it, and I read about it. Um, but I'm just saying, think about it. We've had 13 weeks of NFL and college football, roughly, give or take. Okay, let's just break this down. We haven't seen him. We've seen him MIA the last 10 weeks. So he hits a big ticket, because let me tell you something. He's got these $500 parlays he's probably playing all the time. You lose 500, 500, 500, and you get to chasing, and he's not showing you those. And I'm going to give Christopher Mitchell a free little bit of advice, because he's a complete idiot. Just the stupidest. I mean, when I saw him do the money line parlays in baseball, and he has one team wrapped up, I say you never wrap up more than one team in two parlays. I've done statistics on this. You got a team that you got 3 or 4 parlays, it'll wipe you out. It's stupid, and it's almost like if you put a team in more than 3 parlays, it's going to lose. Okay, it's just I don't know. I'm just saying, it just really, really doesn't. It's a recipe for disaster doing that. Let me tell you, I'm going to share this with you. He hit the big bet. I truly believe he won it. There's no doubt about it. But you think about it. You take 500 over a 10-week space that he has not reported a win. And you figure his bets are 500, 1,000, maybe more, because you get to chasing. We don't know what they're like. We don't know what his chasing is like. But you have to say, when you're playing money line favorites like he does, he's chasing, because he's a martingale, Mitchell Gale. That's what they do. It's better known as chasing. The same difference, chasing. And he's so excited, and it's like his wife was excited because they got a little bit of it back. But think about it. They lost to Ohio State, to Houston. They really didn't report any big wins in sports. And let me tell you, he's ego-driven. He's an egomaniac. So if he had a big win, he would show you. He showed us 2 winning tickets today. He had no problem showing those winning tickets. You don't think he has a ton of losing tickets? Christopher, keep all those losing tickets since you filled out a W-9 or whatever tax form you filled out today, you said. You can use those losing tickets against your wins. So scurry around and find everybody's losing tickets. Free tax advice. Don't take tax advice from me. I'm just saying, I'm sure you can report your losses as much as your wins, but you better keep impeccable records. I don't have to worry about that, because I don't fall into the category of winning any real money. He was so excited. His wife was excited, and they flashed this $15,000 out on their bed like it's $1 million. Absolutely absurd. It's just like when he's getting upset and calling the dealer name. It's just absurd. It's absurd. And all I can tell you, just from what I've seen in the 2 wins, if you take the 2 wins that he won today, it basically gets him to even. If you just take the the World Series Astros loss and that big game in Ohio State that he lost, it's a wash. And let's be honest. He's such an addicted fan because he's so stupid. This man is Stacy, you're married to a complete idiot. A con man, stupid idiot, gambling degenerate, looking for a dopamine rush every time he's playing a game, and you're suckered into it because you're just as stupid as he is. Guys, if you got these gambling habits and your spouse is on board, she's just as bad of the problem. She's just as big a problem as you. You know, a real woman wouldn't tolerate that crap. You know what, Stacy? Get a job so you can get your hair done, so you don't look like a fool. You know, and your mentally 5'7" midget husband who has to sucker people by flashing cash on the bed and sort it all out. I mean, just a complete and utter idiot, you know. And again, it pisses me off to no end that he tries to portray this lifestyle to so many. I get emails all the time, all the time, all the time about asking about this whole thing. Guys, you're not going to win. This is a life of misery. You're going to be miserable trying to do this stuff. He's over there amped up watching the Green Bay Bears game. You know, you think that's fun? That was you got to see live in living color his dopamine, adrenaline, endorphins rush. That was him. That was what he does. And let me tell you something. If he had a bunch more tickets like he had, he would have showed you. If he'd had it in his history, in his online account, he would show you. Okay? Let's understand this. He's a you know, I can't say he's a professional gambler. He's a professional degenerate, and it will implode if it hasn't already imploded. Okay, there's so much to share because people see these tickets and these things. You know, he's not any kind of a handicapper. The favorites all won. Okay, the favorites all won. It happens once in a while, but let me tell you, all the other weeks where it just takes one team to lose, he's got a million losing tickets around. I promise you that. Just like in tonight's game, I'm going to share tonight's game with you. Just my circle little plays, and I'm not by any chance saying I made any real money doing this. I'm just going to share how easy it was tonight. Of course, the Rams were the underdog, and they won. They were Arizona was -3. And pretty much the Rams led from wire to wire, from what I understand. And the Rams team, these are the prop bets that I had circled because Monday night, you know, if you're not a degenerate and you just want to have fun, you can circle the prop bets. You don't have to gamble. You can circle them. You can look them up and play and just have fun. You don't have to have money on them. If you want to put a couple of dollars on it, like I said, you can bet literally for $1.10. But I'm just going to share this with you. Rams team total over 24, easy winner. Matthew Stafford over 1.5 touchdown passes, easy winner. There's 2-0. Kyler Murray over 23.5 completions, easy winner. Cooper Kupp over 92.5 yards receiving, easy. Kyler Murray over 27.5 rushing yards. I think he did by halftime, winner. Kyler Murray over 261 yards passing. I don't know the outcome of that. Rams and Cardinals over 1.5 field goals, easy winners. I think they had 3 and 2 field goals. So, you know, when you saw him in my video, where you saw him implode at the Ohio State Stadium, when you saw that, he said, "Go blue." He's Michigan. You know, that's a load of BS. I guarantee you, he bet on Ohio State against Michigan and lost that. Guarantee you. Because if he had a winning ticket, he would have showed you the Michigan ticket. You know, that was the biggest game in the last 3 or 4 weeks in college football. I'm sure you could say there was other big games, you know. But he's ego-driven and he's dopamine-driven. When you see somebody gambling professional gamblers don't gamble every single day. You know who gambles every single day? Sick, demented, gambling degenerates looking for their dopamine rush, looking for their, you know, and that's the thing about gamblers in general. And I've seen so many of these people. I've seen so many of them. I just study it. They get just a big, like I said this earlier, they get just as big as the dopamine rush when they lose as if they win. And I even talk to some of these people that just, you know, losing to them and losing money to them is almost not a big deal. They don't have the money to lose. I go over to their place and see them. This is years and years and years and years and years ago, you know. they rationalize their losses. They get more energized. Really, they get more energized off of a loss than they do really a win. Yeah, everybody wants to win to keep their bankroll intact, but I gotta say, this is my own opinion. I mean, the whole dopamine rush and the whole crazy high that they're getting, you know, I think they get just as big of one off of it. You saw him, you've seen Christopher Mitchell when he's screaming at the dealer. That's his dopamine levels rising. That's his dopamine levels. Let's face it, when he's winning every single day, that's old to him. That gets old to him. He's not getting the fix that he needs in his brain, in his psychological pea brain. And Stacy, on the other hand, you saw the meltdown in their living room with the kid running amok. Stacy don't give a rat's behind about what's going on in the apartment. He's having a hard time getting the video done. It's very chaotic. He's melting down. You know, when you're this quote gambler, like he says he is, let me tell you something. It takes its toll on the other person. You know, he came in like he was some big time, like he accomplished a big goal. At the end of the day, Stacy, at the end of the day, your little midget husband has to walk through the door and tell his son when he gets older, if he doesn't already see it now, he won't see it at this age. But as he gets older, this is what my dumbass husband does. He goes down to the casino and lays bets. It's eventually going to separate the whole entire bunch of you. And I really don't care, but I'm telling you, as viewers to my channel, don't let this consume your life and destroy your life. Okay? It could be lottery tickets, scratch offs. It can be anything. Anything that's an addiction that can take a negative impact on your life is a recipe for disaster. He doesn't love his wife. You know, he doesn't love his son. He goes in there, champers, smoosh, smoosh, smoosh. Look, get a real job and be a real role model for your kid. You're just a gambling degenerate. And I say it over and over and over again. People, if you're living that life, fix yourself. Okay? I'm gonna say a few other things. You know, he blames the dealer. He thinks there's a trend. He doesn't realize random events happen. Everything's random. You know, he can't get that through his head. And I listen to these shows when I'm driving and I see some of these touts. You know what? Here's the number one thing. If you have the winning formula for winners, you're not buying radio time, television time, whatever time you're purchasing to get your message across saying, hey, I've got the winning games. These touts, they never lose. They're always the game of the year, the lock of the year, the lock of the month. It's all a bunch of BS. Nobody knows unless you have some kind of players in on the whole thing, and that's a whole nother story. But do you actually think that Christopher Mitchell, he plays moneyline favorites, moneyline parlays? I'm not going to hate on that way of play. I'm going to hate on the amount he plays and his money management. He has no money management. And then he always says, oh, I'm going to check my other business entities, which you never know. So why even say it? What positive message have you sent to any of your 30,000 viewers, fake viewers at that? What positive message have you sent other than I'm a mental midget with a serious gambling problem, and you don't, you know, you're pathetic, you're ego driven, and you can't let your own ego go. You know, you spread out this money like, you know, we all know you're losing. You had one big Sunday and you won. You know what? I looked at those scores, I looked at the covers, and those are the kind of weeks that gamblers hope happen often, but there's always one or two teams that do not either get the cover or don't get the money line win, or there's an upset or an underdog covers. This was just a great week. But let's talk about the other 12. You weren't boasting and bragging. And let me tell you something. If he had those winning tickets, he'd be showing them to you. Guys, don't get suckered into it. Okay? It irritates me when I see somebody like him, you know, trying to play this role of some slick sports gambler. You don't wake up one morning and all of a sudden you're a professional sports gambler. It takes years and years and years Years. It's nothing that happens in a year or two. Okay. It has nothing to do with that. Okay. And then his whole follow the trend. Every hand's a random event. It's like flipping a coin. 7 heads in a row doesn't mean it's going to be another head. Okay, let me see what else I can say about this whole thing. I'm going to sum this all up because the video, I believe he won, and nobody's angry at him. The anger comes from the fact that, you know, it's like all these touts. They always brag about their big wins. They're not going to tell you about the 11. I had this one guy. I don't want to name him. I just get a message every single day. He's not pushy. He's not trying to get business. It's just he gives you a couple of free winners, and then he gives a recap of what he does each day. It's about a 2 or 3 paragraph little email that comes every single day, and he's not even pushing 50%. It's pathetic, and I've been and I don't play his plays. I just look, and this guy, you know, it's maybe 50%. Some days I see him lose 7 in a row. I've never really seen him have winning days. But my point is, if all these people have winning days, they're not buying radio time, TV time, whatever media. They're not spending it out there to, you know, they're trying to do what he does. Let me get some of these suckers that are desperate for money. And I have some friends, you know, that's really scary. I've had friends that paid for picks, paid for plays because they're so hoping that there's a golden egg out there underneath this goose. And there isn't. Okay? There just isn't. And I just want you to know that, guys, I'm here to, my message is, don't get caught up in the BS of thinking this is, you know, anybody can play money line parlays, favorites, and they just all hit. That's a load. I highly encourage, if you guys do have to dabble and do that kind of stuff, don't put real money down. Just circle it. Go off the line in the paper or online. We don't have papers anymore. And print it off your computer. And or you can write it down from the ESPN website, whatever you want to do, and write the line down. It's close enough. It's whatever you're willing to take, and follow that. And I promise you, you're going to find out that these upsets and these favorites do not always happen and cover. Guys, don't believe everything you see. Everything I'm going to give you is 100% God's honest truth. I have nothing in this to other than to share that says, hey, if you want to have a normal, less stressful life, do not do what he does. I'm telling you, I've seen so many people. He is on the verge of collapsing. It's just not something that he can sustain and do over and over and over again. I promise you, it's stressful. And you know what? The person that enables the gambling degenerate is the one you have to blame. There's an enabler in everybody's life that enables somebody to do the crap they do. And we know who that is, none other than Stacy. She gets 100% of the blame. She's the enabler. And when you have an enabler in your life, that's a bad person, because they got a person that they can clearly see is an addicted fool. You know, that's the kind of lifestyle y'all want to sit down and have dinner with. That's really y'all's big joy is, oh my God, I got to have the Green Bay Packers, you know, hold this lead. It's coming down to that for 15K. Christopher, you owe it to your family and your son and everybody else to get a normal job and quit being such a fool. You're not impressing anybody. Anybody with half a brain can see right through your smoke and mirrors, okay? Guys, please, if you have not subscribed already, please subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section. I didn't mean to get long on this video. Y'all have a great rest of the week, and I'll talk to y'all in the next video.